Alrighty, folks. So again, my name's Amir. Behind the wheel, we got Adam. Looks like we're heading out of here. Look to your left. Wave goodbye to all the people waiting in line. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Now, we do have one more person who's going to be joining us for the tour today. You might recognize him as a host of the Tonight Show. That's right, it's Mr. Jimmy Fallon.
Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Amir.
And the greatest driver.
Adam.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Amir.
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, folks. Now, first, if you need guest assistance, if you have a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or video issues, reach up and pull that red emergency cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and then I will be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and your legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, so if at any point during the tour you drop your phone, or you just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the red cord and then remain seated. Please, no smoking of any kind during the tour. And also be prepared, the tour today is going to feature loud noises, fire effects, water effects, so you might get wet. There are also sudden tram movements on the tour today, so secure your personal belongings and be ready to hold on tight. Finally, for your safety and the safety of those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. All right, people, well, we've done it. We are leaving the theme park behind. We're about to head down to the heart of the production area here at Universal Studios. You're about to go see where some of your favorite movies have been made. Now, as we make our way down this hill, look to your right. You see a bunch of movie posters. See if you can find the poster for your favorite Universal movie. But if you can't find it, that makes sense. Look, these posters, they only represent a tiny fraction of the over 10,000 movies that Universal Studios have produced throughout the years. On the screens right now, I'm playing a fun little montage of a selection of just a couple of those great movies. Now, Universal as a company, we've been around for a long time. We originally founded in the year 1912. 1912, y'all. Originally founded over in New York. We had offices in New York. We were founded as Universal Pictures. By the year 1914, just a couple of years later, our founder, Carl Lumley, he purchased land here in California in the San Fernando Valley. And then on March 15th, 1915, that is when we opened up the gates of Universal Studios to the public, allowing people to walk through the studio to watch how silent movies were being made. And let me put that into context for everybody, right? We opened up the gates to our studio on March 15th, 1915. The Hollywood sign didn't even exist yet. That wasn't built until the year 1923. And Disneyland, they didn't open up the gates to their theme park until the year 1955. Now on your screens right now, that's our founder, Carl Lumley. So Carl Lumley, he was a German immigrant who came to this country with a couple of dreams, and one of those dreams was to build the world's first self-contained community that was dedicated to making movies. He achieved that dream by building Universal Studios Hollywood. Now, while we were originally dedicated to making movies, folks, today we make more than just movies here. We also make TV shows, music videos, commercials. Now, where do we make all of those things? Well, for the most part, we make them inside of buildings that are called sound stages. What's a soundstage? I got you. Look to your left. We're going to be passing by a large black and white building that says Stage 12 on it. That is a soundstage. That, in fact, is our largest and our oldest soundstage here at Universal. So from the looks of it on the outside, a soundstage, it's basically just a giant warehouse. But these ones have been built with really thick concrete walls that have been insulated and padded to make them about 98% soundproof. We use sound stages because it gives filmmakers an enclosed environment where they can control the weather, the temperature, the sound, and the lighting. Like, let's say, for instance, we're making a movie that takes place entirely at nighttime. Well, you can't make it be nighttime outside 24 hours a day, but you sure can inside of a soundstage. Now, coming up on the left, you're going to be passing really close to a couple more sound stages, right? So if any of the doors are wide open, by all means, look inside, get a little peek at what it looks like inside of a real working Hollywood soundstage. But from the looks of it, you can't really tell how we use these sound stages, right? Well, let me do this. On your screens, I'm also going to play a scene from a movie that was filmed here in the 1930s. This is actually one of the first talking films Universal ever produced. Once it's done playing, I'll talk about how they use a soundstage.
I have the room ready for you, Mrs. Barrington. Thank you, Walter.
Did you hear that? Mrs. Barrington.
Not quite, darling, but soon.
Very, very soon. Hello. Yes?
Have a bottle of champagne sent to the room at once. And make sure that we are not disturbed for any reason.
Now, folks, that bellhop on your screens, that is actually Jimmy Fallon's grandfather, the actor Timothy Fallon. Can you believe that? Well, you shouldn't. I'm lying. It's not. So yeah, that really is Jimmy Fallon. So this is actually a fun little video that Jimmy Fallon made for us to show you how to use a soundstage. So you see the hotel lobby that he's in right now? Well, look at this. That's not a real hotel, right? That's just a set that's been built inside of a soundstage. There's no ceiling, not with this roof with the lights. There's no front wall, not with this roof with the cameras. So that's a great example of how we use soundstages. The one on the left represents my soundstage 14. This was home to one of my favorite TV shows, the show Superstore.
I know it's hot in here, but let's have some patience for one another.
Yeah, you know, the heat makes us all act.
Your face stays where it is, it's gonna get punched.
Such an incredible show starring Academy Award nominee America Ferrera. Now, a lot of people have asked me, what store did the TV show Superstore have to rent out here in LA in order to film these interior scenes? But folks, on your screens, that's not a real store. That was a set that was built inside of 2 connected sound stages here at the studio. It was incredible. I got to go visit it a couple of times, and whenever I was there, I really felt like I could go shopping. I mean, it was complete with registers, as well as fully stocked out with groceries and goods. It just goes to show you can really build anything you need to inside of a soundstage. So on your screens, you've just seen a hotel, you've seen a store, right? Who's the person to design all those incredible sets? Okay, so for a movie or a show or a project, that's a job of somebody called a production designer. The production designer, they're the person responsible for designing the overall look or the aesthetic of a project they're working on. In the pre-production phase, before filming actually happens, they're going to work really closely with the director of that project. What they'll do is go through a script page by page, and once they agree on what all of the different sets should look like, that production designer will then design sets that might need to be built out of scratch, or they will design how some of the permanent sets that we have here at the studio might need to be decorated. That's what a production designer does. Now on your right, we're past my soundstage 18 and 19. A couple of really great TV shows are currently filming inside of here. The TV show Hacks, that stars Emmy Award-winner Gene Smart. They'll film it nearby here. Oh, also the TV show The Paper, which is the fun spin-off of the TV show The Office. They filmed their entire first season in these stages as well.
We sell products made out of paper, toilet tissue, and local newspapers. That is in order of quality.
My name is Ned Sampson. I am your new editor-in-chief.
Have you read this paper?
It sucks. We are going to make it better. Not too disruptive and having to shake everything up.
Don't be so sarcastic.
God, not again.
Once they wrapped up filming their first season, a new TV show called The 5-Star Weekend, which is going to be on Peacock. It's got an incredible cast. Jennifer Garner, Chloe Sevigny, Darcy Carden, Regina Hall, and Gemma Chan. They just wrapped up filming their first season inside of those same sound stages as well. But you know, before you can assemble a cast and crew inside of a soundstage for filming or what we call production, you gotta do a lot of things first, like write a script, make a budget, cast a show. But folks, a lot of that work actually happens on the left. These brown buildings are the offices for some of Hollywood's top writers, directors, and producers. We just passed by the offices of Mark Plant Productions. Mark Plant Productions, they're the folks who produced the movie Wicked, starring Cynthia Erivo, and I'm personally really looking forward to Wicked for Good, coming out on November 21st. And also for my fans of the TV show The Vampire Diaries, we just passed by the offices of Julie Plec. Julie Plec, she's the person who created the TV show The Vampire Diaries, as well as Vampire Academy on Peacock. So really, some of Hollywood's greatest minds working to the left-hand side of the tram, and hopefully your next favorite movie or TV show. Oh wait, speaking of TV shows, I got one more I want to talk about here on the left. We're past my soundstage 25 and 26, and this is where the TV show St. Denis Medical films their show. It's a really fun comedy at NBC that is created by the same folks who brought this TV show Superstore, Eric Legend and Justin Spitzer. Take a look.
Welcome to St. Denis Medical Center.
St. Denis Regional Medical.
I have access to some really good stuff, and I will hook you up.
Yeah.
No, man. That was a test.
Like the Avengers, you know?
We're not supposed to have favorite patients, but we do.
I almost don't want him to get better.
Pale, kind of blotchy.
It's the other one.
Oh my God, that's much worse. Wow.
Really fun show. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Now, everything I just showed you on your screens, those were all sets that were built inside of a soundstage, right? Now, when something's filming here, like 80 to 90% of it is filmed in a stage. Whenever you see a character on screen and they're inside of a building, a house, a restaurant, or a hospital, typically a set built inside of a stage. But you know, sometimes you've got to see those characters outside walking down a city street with big buildings all around them. Well, sometimes productions can go film in downtown Los Angeles, and that's called filming on location. But when they do that, they've got to get city permits to block off streets. If any businesses are affected by the street closures, they've got to pay a fee to all of those businesses. And then maybe your project has got some secrecy around it, but then you got to deal with the public trying to get onto your set to take pictures. So instead of dealing with all of those hassles, production will come here from my Universe Studios and film in the area we're driving into right now, our metropolitan sets. In this area, we have an entire city of buildings squashed into 4 acres of land. Restaurants, stores, banks, theaters, right? The area we're driving in right now, we call this London Square, but it doesn't just have to play London on camera. Depending upon how the production designer designs how the streets, the sidewalks, and the buildings are decorated, this can really play any location around the globe. You've seen this street get used as Russia and the TV show Agent Carter on ABC. Mindy Kaling was back here for an episode of The Mindy Project on Fox, and Ted Danson's been back here as well for the TV show A Man on the Inside. Now check this out. We are going from London and we're going stateside to a street called New York Street. Yeah. So even though the street's called New York Street, it doesn't just have to play New York on camera. This street has played my hometown, the city of Chicago, with the Blues Brothers. Ironically, this street has played London for Fast and Furious with its Hobbs and Shaw. And it's even played El Paso, Texas for the movie The Forever Purge. Now, let me show you though what it looks like to actually film on location in a real city with our co-host Jimmy Fallon. Here he is filming in New York City. Check it out.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool, guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
All right, so Jimmy actually did film that right here at the Universal Studios back lot, but it just goes to show how realistic we can make these buildings look, just with a little bit of decoration. Now, speaking of these buildings looking realistic, look to your left and look to your right. These buildings look real, right? They look like they're made out of brick, marble, concrete, and iron, but they're not. For the most part, all of these buildings are made out of wood. A really special kind of wood, Hollywood. I know, but really these are wooden structures. What looks like brick walls are just giant sheets of plastic that get put into a machine called a vacuum form. That machine will heat up the plastic, mold it into brick shapes, it gets painted and then glued onto these wooden structures. What look like concrete steps or stairs, really just plaster on top of wood. We use those types of materials, and that way it's easier for us to be able to rebuild and redesign these buildings for different movies and different TV shows. Alrighty folks, well you know what? Adam wants to take us on a nice little adventure. Here's Academy Award winning director Peter Jackson, who's going to tell us a little bit more about what we're about to experience, King Kong 360 3D.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I wanted to become a filmmaker.
Alright folks, I'm going to pause this really quick. We are noticing that we might have some technical issues happening with King Kong 360 3D right now. Just like any kind of attraction that we have here at the studio or at the theme park, every once in a while some of these things kind of go down on us for a little bit. So Adam is on the phone right now. Fingers crossed that we do experience the attraction. So I'm going to set it up like we are going to experience it. Just put up some good vibes out there that we get to get King Kong 360 3D. So Peter Jackson, tell us a little bit more about this attraction.
I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. How can I play it?
Alrighty folks, so as a heads up, because we're about to maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, experience King Kong 360 3D while we're inside of this tunnel, just remain seated throughout the entire time. Actually, just remain seated throughout the entire tour in general. Get ready to hold on tight and also take the time right now to secure any loose personal belongings. Now that the tram has entered into this attraction, this is just one of the times when I am not allowed to exit the vehicle to retrieve any dropped items, alright? So if you drop your phone inside a King Kong 360 3D, your phone will be staying inside a King Kong 360 3D. So if you do experience this attraction and you are taking pictures, just hold on tight to your devices, alright? Oh, on top of that also, take the time right now to turn off the flash on your camera, bright flashing lights can be a safety hazard for some of the folks you're sitting next to. Alrighty people, looks like we're about to experience King Kong 360 3D. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? Good? All right, good. I always check it after that because King Kong 360 3D is incredible. King Kong 360 3D can be pretty intense. You know, you can even say that King Kong 360 3D was bananas. Ah, come on. I can tell there's a couple of you thought that banana pun was appealing. All right, fine, I'll stop. No more banana puns. But do any more, y'all might split. Now, King Kong 360 3D is brought to us by the same team of people who brought us the movie King Kong. That's director Peter Jackson and his team at Weta Effects. Weta Effects, they are a special visual effects company based out of New Zealand, and they use some of the most advanced technology in filmmaking today to create some amazing visual effects for movies and TV shows. Now folks, when I say visual effects, what I'm talking about is CGI, or computer-generated imagery, right? Effects that'll be added in post-production once filming's all done. Now visual effects are completely separate from special effects. Special effects are done with what we call real or practical effects. They're done while the camera is present. And because of that, when I say the camera's present, think about like explosions, right? Like a car exploding or something like that. And oftentimes we say that those effects are being done in camera because the camera actually gets to see it happen. Now on your screens, I'm going to show you a little behind-the-scene footage on how King Kong 360 3D works. So Adam, he drove our tram into a dark tunnel, right? Well, he actually moved the tram from a platform that shakes around using hydraulics and mechanics and computers. Look at the top right-hand corners of your screen. That's what all of our tram cars were just doing, getting shaken around. Now they're getting moved around in conjunction with the images that you see on the screens. And here's the room we were just in with the lights on. Those screens are over 40 feet tall, over 180 feet wide. You just experienced King Kong 360 3D on some of the world's largest 3D digital projection screens ever. Alrighty, folks. Well, if you look over to your left, you're getting one last look at our metropolitan sets. We're going to drive through all of our sets in that area today because there's a brand new TV show called Stewart Fails to Save the Universe, prepped to film an episode. It's a brand new show that's going to be a Warner Brothers show. And if you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory, it is in that universe. Stewart is the comic book store owner, so apparently he fails to save the universe, so be on the lookout for that show. Now, if you keep a look at your left, we're passing by soundstage 30 and 31. That is where the TV show The Voice films their show. Yeah, season 28 of The Voice, just premiered a couple of days ago. Got some really fun coaches this season. Returning are Michael Bublé, Niall Horan from One Direction. Reba McEntire is back as a coach, and not only is she coaching The Voice, she's also working on her TV show Happy's Place next door, and it's now at soundstage 32 and 33. And finally, the last coach for The Voice this season, Snoop Double G.
Hey there, Studio Tour. I'm Snoop Dogg from The Voice. We tape our show right here in stage 30 and 31, in the heart of the Universal Backlight. These state-of-the-art sound stages allow us to bring every round of our show to life, from the blind auditions to the live finale, and everything in between.
Make some noise! We know where America was. Reba sucks, baby! Yo, now, you should see the underwear I'm wearing.
Now, folks, I recently learned that Snoop Dogg always carries an umbrella to set with them. You know why? For the drizzle. Wow, tough tram. All right. All right, folks, this is really cool. Adam is now get us access into an area where some of our scary monster movies were made. Yeah, folks, if you're a big fan of scary movies or monster movies, you can thank Universal Studios for creating that genre of film. Between the 1920s to the 1950s, we made movies based off of classic monsters. Movies like Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff, and The Bride of Frankenstein, starring Elsa Lanchester. Welcome to an area that we like to call Little Europe.
He's in the woods. Head out the bloodhounds. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me.
Now, folks, why do we call this area Little Europe? Well, just take a really good look at how this area is designed, right? Look at the road that they were driving on. It looks like an older cobblestone street. Not cobblestone, this is really just pressed concrete. Look at the architecture and the design of the buildings. In fact, even look at this building coming up on the left. The cheese shop in Germany, right, because it's written with German words on the front. So we're in Germany. But suddenly, we're going to be transported to France. Coming up on the right, we're going to be passing by a pharmacy written in French. Yeah, so simply by changing the languages of the signs of the windows, changing the costumes the actors are wearing, the languages they're speaking, and even the music added in post-production, we can transform Little Europe to look like any location around the globe. This area has played the Vatican City in Italy for the movie Angels and Demons. This area has even played Paris for an episode of The Gilmore Girls, and this area even played Genovia for Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement. Yeah, the road that we're driving on right now is the same exact parade route that Anne Hathaway walks in that movie. But I'm gonna guess a lot of you probably recognize Little Europe as The Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Yeah, all four seasons of the TV show The Good Place from right here at Universal, and they did use Little Europe as the actual good place. Alrighty, folks, so now we're going to be turning... Wait, are we going... Really? Adam, we're about to make this happen? What? Everybody, you were all loud enough for Adam. He's getting our tram extra special access. So, folks, typically, trams aren't allowed to drive into a soundstage here at the studio, but because Adam is really good friends with one of the directors who's filming a movie inside of here, they gave our tram special access to enter into a real working Hollywood soundstage so you can see what they've done inside of here. This is incredible. Okay, so as a quick reminder though, please everybody, please remain seated. Hold on tight, just hold on tight to your valuables. This is what we call a fully dressed set, so I am not allowed to enter into their dressed set, all right? Whoa, wow, check this out, folks. They built an entire subway station inside of here. Okay, now using your visual clues that the production designer designed, if you look on your left, you see some posters. And on your right, well, you actually see a river giving away. You can tell what city this movie is going to be taking place in, right? San Francisco, right? There's a poster of the Golden Gate Bridge. Whoa. All right, brother. Sorry about that. Remain seated. Hold on tight. We've been getting a bunch of little earthquakes here in LA lately. Whoa. Okay, everybody. I think this is just a little earthquake. I think this might be the big one. Congrats, everybody. You just survived earthquake with a big one. That attraction opened up in the year 1989. And it is based off of the Universal movie Earthquake, which stars Richard Brown and Ava Gardner. Alrighty, folks, now playing acting was just so incredible that it really freaked some of you out. You got scared just out of there. Don't get mad at me. You know why? That earthquake is not my fault. Yeah! Alrighty, folks, well, I don't let you all know now we're going to be halfway through the tour. So just a reminder again to please remain seated. The studio is private property, so if you drop your phones or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord, remain seated, then I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Now, friends, you definitely want to remain seated as we head towards our next area, Amity Island. That's right, people, we're taken to the home of Jaws, and you're about to be in the middle of that movie, so remain seated because there's a shark in this water. Now, in the water, there's a shark who's about to attack police diver George. Everybody, I need your help. On the count of 3, shout, George! 1, 2, 3. Thank you, George, buddy. There's a shark coming towards you. You need to get into your water, man. George? George! No! Oh, everybody, this is terrible. George was such a beautiful person on the inside and out. And now George himself is inside out. All right, folks, we've got a plan. We're going to pull forward and we're going to hide behind these super safe barrels of gasoline. Now, in the water, there's a yellow barrel full of shark bait. If the shark eats that, we should be safe. Let's see what happens. Congrats, everybody. You just survived a shark attack from Jaws. Alrighty, people, hey, I want to see who here paid attention in school, all right? On a count of 3, everybody shout out what type of shark this was. I want to hear the same answer from everybody. Confer together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. No, plastic. It's a plastic shark, everybody. So the movie Jaws is an incredible movie directed by Steven Spielberg, and it just celebrated its 50th anniversary this year. It originally released in theaters on June 20th of 1975. Now, Steven Spielberg actually gave that shark a name. He named the shark Bruce. Yeah, he named him Bruce after his longtime lawyer, Bruce Raymer. Because what could be scarier than a man-eating shark? That's right, a Hollywood lawyer. Now, show of hands, who here has seen Disney Pixar's movie Finding Nemo? All right, see a bunch of hands up. All right, people, what's the name of the shark from Finding Nemo? Bruce. Yeah, it's their fun little tribute to the original shark from Jaws. All right, folks, this is great. Adam is now getting us access into an area called Old Mexico. You've actually seen this set. It uses Mexico in the Jack Black movie, Nacho Libre. But this is where we also get to show you how we make it rain here at Universal Studios Hollywood. So look to your left. We got a storm over, right? You hear that thunder? Well, that's just being played from speakers hidden throughout the area. But if we were making a movie right now, the thunder would be added in post-production. The lightning being created by strobe lights just flashing on and off. Now, let's add the rain. Now, the rain is falling from something very fancy and high-tech. Now, we here in Hollywood like to call sprinklers. But on set, we'll call them rain rigs or rain bars. And rain's actually really difficult to capture on camera. And it's not because your equipment might get wet. It's because cameras have a hard time seeing raindrops. It's kind of like when you're watching a football game at home on your television, and the announcer's saying it's raining, but you can never see the raindrops in your TV set, right? That's because that rain's not properly lit. In order to make raindrops appear on camera, you've got to set a light source up for behind the raindrops to make them shiny and shimmery, kind of like how the sunshine's doing right now, and that way the camera can see them. But folks, you don't need any special lighting to see this. Check it out. We got our very own flash flood here at the store too. Now, folks, you might recognize this flash flood from the movie Big Fat Liar. Take a look. It's Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, Paul Giamatti, and Paul Giamatti's stunt double using flash flood for the movie Big Fat Liar. Now, if you're a big fan of Lady Gaga, you've actually seen this flash flood in her music video for the song Judas. Lady Gaga herself got drenched by all of that water. Other music videos that filmed here in Old Mexico. To your left, this arched doorway, Camila Cabello dancing from that doorway for the music video to My Oh My. And this entire area of Old Mexico was used by Janet Jackson for her music video for the song Escapade. All right, folks, well, we're going to say adios to Old Mexico, and now we're going to say howdy to 6 Points, our Western sets. These are some of the oldest sets we have here at the studio. You've seen these sets in movies starring Mae West, Jimmy Stewart. Leonardo DiCaprio was here filming scenes for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for Sony. And for my fans of scary movies, A24's Maxine. Yeah, the scene in that movie where Kevin Bacon and Mia Goth have a little like showdown on a Western street. That Western street is this street. In fact, even our co-host, Jimmy Fallon's been back here as well.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. The nice folks in this town don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal line.
I hear this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot you.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town while they're getting good?
All right. I'll see you again, fella.
Or you can count on it, fella. Again.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk it out, that's all.
Alrighty, folks. Well, you're about to experience a moment of deja vu. Alrighty, folks. Well, you're about to experience a moment of deja vu because we're about to be driving right past the Jaws attraction one more time. Now, I just mentioned that Steven Spielberg is an incredible director behind the movie Jaws, right? But did you know that Steven Spielberg also played a huge part in bringing the Jaws attraction to the studio tour?
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
All right, folks, now the area we're driving through right now, we call this the residential section of the back lot because you see all these lovely houses. Well, these houses aren't real, right? They're just sets for movies and TV shows. You might recognize them, though. On your right, this house here is called the Chicken Ranch. And if you're a big fan of the movie The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, well, you've seen this house, yeah. Dolly Parton saying, "I will always love you" from the porch of this house. This house has also been used in a music video for the band LMFAO, the music video for Sorry for Party Rockin', and you've also seen this house in a scary movie, Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. This was the Firefly house. Now, folks, Adam's about to get us access onto one of the most photographed streets in the entire world. Welcome to Colonial Street. You've seen these houses in a movie, in a TV show, or in a music video. Let me point out some of the houses coming up on the left. The second house in, this brown house, this was in the movie Harvey, starring Jimmy Stewart. The purple house next door to it, that's where the Munsters lived. In the Munsters TV show, this is 1313 Mockingbird Lane. The yellow house next door to that, if you watched Netflix's Never Have I Ever, this is Davy's house in that show. And now next door to that is going to be a gray house. As we drive by it, everybody look to your left. I look through the windows directed to the left and the right hand side of that doorway. Notice how you can see clear through that house, right? So that's a great example of what we call a facade. The word facade is a French word that means frontage, but we've translated into meaning false front. The reason we call that a false front is because it's just the front and the sides of a building. There's no walls to that house, there's no floor to that house, there's not even a back wall to it. We'd only use that for exterior shots. Now, if one of the characters lived in that house, the interior would be a set that's been built inside of a soundstage. Now, let me point out a couple of other houses that you might recognize. Coming up on the left is going to be a brown house. It's kind of got an A-frame to it in the front of it. If you watch the holiday movie Candy Cane Lane on Amazon Prime, starring Eddie Murphy and Tracy Ellis Ross, this is the house that the Carver family lived in. And then two houses down from that, if anybody here is watching the TV show Ted on Peacock, well, the second house here on the left, this is where Ted and Johnny live.
Let the festivities begin.
How many we got?
Well, let's see. We got 20 cartons.
Fantastic.
Do you think we're getting too old for this?
Well, come on, Johnny. We're doing a public service here. If a kid leaves the house in a less than stellar Halloween costume, he's got to get the bad news before he makes a fool of himself all over town. We're Samaritans.
Now, folks, you've also seen this street in the movie The Burbs, starring Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher. Christina Ricci's been back there for the movie Casper. Nelly and Kelly Rowland, they filmed a music video with the song Dilemma on this street. Now, remember this music video where Kelly Rowland is so mad that Nelly's not texting her back in her Excel spreadsheet for some reason? Other music videos I filmed back there, Eminem was on there for Forgot About Dre, and the band Smash Mouth, their music video for the song All-Star from back there as well. But I'm going to guess a lot of you probably recognize Colonial Street by a different name. The name Wisteria Lane.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good name.
Folks, ABC's Desperate Housewives, they used Colonial Street as Wisteria Lane for the entire run of that series. Alright, friends, well, hey, I want to let you all know now we're about maybe 15 minutes away from the end of the tour. Going to be returning to the theme park shortly. A reminder again to please remain seated. If we do need assistance, pull the cord to get my attention. Now, folks, as we turn the corner, get your cameras ready, because we're about to be driving by a bunch of celebrities. But they're not people, they're cars. These are what we call picture cars. A picture car is any vehicle that shows up on screen in a movie or a TV show, and sometimes picture cars can become just as famous or memorable as the actors driving them. On your left, I'm sure a lot of you recognize some of the vehicles from the Jurassic franchise. Got some fun foot-powered vehicles from the Flintstones here as well. My favorite cars that we have here, though, are the ones that are driven by family. I got a bunch of vehicles in the Fast and the Furious franchise. And then to wrap it up, even got a couple of vehicles that are more than meets the eye. These are robots in disguise. That's Bumblebee and Barricade with the Transformers. Alright, folks, as we turn the corner, I want to give a little heads up, a little warning for any young ones. We're going to be seeing a lot of like spooky and scary decorations in this area for Halloween Horror Nights, alright? On the right is the haunted house for the Terror Tram. If you come back for this event, you'll have to board this vehicle where we make you get off of it, and then you have to walk through a haunted house based off of the Blumhouse films. Once you survive that, you'll then make your way and walk right next to our creepy version of the Hollywood sign we have here on the left. And then after that, you gotta get some cardio, walk up this hill, and walk by a piece of Hollywood history, the original Psycho House. Now, folks, the Psycho House is little. Okay, that's not good. I hope you did not hear me call this a Psycho House, everybody. That is a person who lives here. His name is Norman Bates, and he doesn't like that we drive by his house. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna see if I can kind of smooth things over with him. Norman. Where'd he go? Oh, okay. Hi there, Norman. Ooh, that was kind of spooky. Sorry so much. We hope you're okay with us driving by. We're okay. Whoa. All right, Norman. We're gonna get on out of here. I see your point. Yikes. Good point. Get it? Good point. We have the tank. All right. Anyway, well, folks, that was a near disaster. Speaking of disasters, wow, look at it. Look at this incredible wreckage front of the tram. And friends, throughout the tour today, I've shown you a bunch of stuff that was not real, right? Showed you fake brick buildings, fake cobblestone street. Well, the plane you're looking at right now, this is actually a real 747 airplane that was purchased and then chopped into pieces for Paramount Pictures' War of the Worlds. Here's the director of that movie, Steven Spielberg, and the production designer, the person who designed this set, Rick Carter, to tell us a little bit more about it.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
We forget to sit down to talk about the War of the World. I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
And folks, on your screens right now, the scene with Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, and Justin Chapman, that was actually filmed where we currently are. This is the actual filming location. Now, you have seen this plane get used in a couple of music videos. Nicki Minaj and Rihanna, check out their music video of the song Fly. You'll see Nicki Minaj dance on one of the wings of the plane. And pretty recently, Ariana Grande was back here as well. If you go onto YouTube and check out her music video of the song Supernatural, you see Ariana Grande walk right through that wreckage. Now, War of the Worlds, though, great movie that came out in 2005. It's a really great alien movie. Speaking of alien movies, we're going to take you to the set of another movie all about aliens, the set of Jupiter's Claim from Jordan Peele's movie Nope.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Jupe Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso Experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. Welcome to the world of No.
To get out. You like that wordplay? Nope. All right, folks, so that is the actual set of Jupiter's Claim that you saw in the movie Nope. The same exact set that the actors Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Stephen Yeun worked on. The production designer for the movie Nope, her name is Ruth DeYoung. Not the first time that you've seen her work with Jordan Peele. She also was a production designer on his movie Us as well, and she's been nominated for the Academy Award for her work on the movie Oppenheimer. All right, folks, well, we're going to get you back to the theme park, but I do have one more thing I want to show you on here on the right-hand side of the tram. You're about to see a big old giant blue wall, and in front of it is an empty concrete pit that we call Falls Lake. Some of you are thinking, where's the lake, right? Well, this pit can be filled up with 2.7 million gallons of water. It takes about 3 days to fill. Now, the reason we have this fake lake here is because sometimes movies and TV shows have a scene that takes place in the middle of the ocean. But filming in the real ocean can be a little bit dangerous because it's an uncontrolled environment, right? Riptides, currents, waves, and not to mention all of the ocean life that lives in the ocean. So instead, productions will come here and film in Falls Lake. Actually, on your screens, I'm going to play a little montage of a couple of the different movies that have filmed using Falls Lake. On your screens, this is the last scene from the movie Psycho, so spoiler alert. Originally built for the movie Jaws the Revenge, that blue wall was painted to look like clouds, but since then, that wall typically is going to be used for special effects, visual effects, right? In post-production, a visual effects editor can remove that color blue and replace it with whatever image is needed. About to see Jim Carrey on your screens as well. Not the first time he's been back there. If you saw the movie Truman Show, at the very end of that movie when Jim Carrey is escaping the world of the Truman Show, and he crashes his boat into a big giant wall, or not wall, is Falls Lake. You've also seen Falls Lake get used in some music videos. Beyonce has been back there for the music video to Formation. At the very beginning of that video, you see her standing on top of a submerged car. That car was submerged in Falls Lake. TLC's Waterfalls filmed over in Falls Lake as well. And music video by Harry Styles' first song, Falling, filmed over there too. Alrighty, folks, well, that is a wrap on the world-famous Universal Studios tour. Thanks so much for joining us. We're getting you back to the theme park now, but before we do that, will you all do me a favor and make a whole bunch of noise for our amazing driver, Adam! Special shout out to the annual pass members of Word to People. Thanks so much for always joining us. If you're not an annual pass member and you want to become one, head to the Universal box office to find out you can turn an e-ticket into an annual pass. That way you can come back next year in 2026 to ride a brand new roller coaster, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. If you want to purchase any of the TV shows or movies that we talked about today, go to the website uphe.com. And finally, download the Universal Studios Hollywood app to your smartphone. With that app, you'll see that we close tonight at 6 p.m. You'll see showtimes from Waterworld, and you can also do some mobile food ordering through that app as well. Alrighty, folks, my name is Amir. I was your studio tour guide. I'm so sorry if any of my terrible puns traumatized you too much. If they did, well, I still hope you had a tourific time. Thanks, bye!
Please remember all your belongings. 3D glasses go in those blue discs behind me. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Everybody, thank you so much for the standing ovation. Oh, you're just leaving. Oh, okay, cool.
Watch your step. Please remember all your belongings. 3D glasses go in those blue discs.